the one, the only, Benzion. Good morning and welcome to Yeshiva YouTube. Iyun Benzion. And today's daf is daf Vav in Benzion Gittin. The Gemara here discusses that it's not just Eretz Yisrael. If you bring a get from one place in Eretz Yisrael to another place in Eretz Yisrael, as long as it's not from one district to another district. Technically, one place in Yerushalayim to another place in Yerushalayim, you don't have to say Fani Nechta, because there's no problem Lishma, and there's no problem Edom Mitsuyin Lekaimo. What about from Bavel to Eretz Yisrael? So it's a machlok with Rav and Shmuel. Rav says in the middle of Vav and Aleph, Eretz Yisrael Gittin. If you bring a get from Bavel to Eretz Yisrael, so there's no problem. There's no problem of saying you don't have to say Fani Nechta. Shmuel says like Chotar. We paskin like Rav. We paskin like Rav that we don't have to. And the Gemara explains what's the machlokes Rav and Shmuel. Rav savar came on the Mesifta Mishka Shchichi. Shmuel savar the Mesifta B'Yirsayu Treaty. Rav says the reason is because there are a lot of yeshivas over there, and a lot of people travel from Eretz Yisrael to Bavel or Bavel to Eretz Yisrael. There's always going to be Eidim, there's always going to be people that are familiar with signatures from both places. So therefore, when you travel from Bavel to Eretz Yisrael, there'll always be Eidim, L'kayim Nishtar, so there's no need to say V'fani Nechtav or V'fani Nechtam. And that's how he passes. And Shmuel argues. He says people in Yeshiva are busy learning, they're not familiar with signatures. But we paskin like Rav. Now if you look on Vav and Beis, the Gemara has seemingly a similar discussion over here. The Gemara and Vav and Beis in the middle, towards the top actually. Shalach le Rav Yasser Rav Chisda Gittin Aboim Misham Lakan. They come from there to here. It doesn't say Bavel, but the Rishonim understand it means Bavel. If they come from Bavel to Eretz Yisrael, Ein Sarach Lomar B'Fani Nechta Fani Nechtam. You don't have to say it. So the Gemara says, what's the reason? Kevan Dika Rabim Salki V'Nachti Mishka Shchich. There's a lot of people that go back and forth within two places, so therefore you always have Eidim to Mekayim the Shtar. Now, the question is this a new svara? Didn't Rav just say on Vavam and Aleph the reason is because of the people in yeshivas are traveling back and forth? Here it seems to be saying everyone travels back and forth. So there's two answers I'd like to suggest. One answer, which I thought I was the only answer I was gonna say. I actually thought of the second answer right now when I started asking the question. It's machlokas in Rashi and Tosfos. There's two types of Bavel. Whenever it says Bavel in the Gemara, there's actually a city called Bavel, and then there's a Medina. There was a state called Bavel, a nation called Bavel. You know, like right next to Iraq, there's actually a country called Kuwait, which has the richest currency in the world. A Kuwaiti dinar is worth $3, more than $3. You're not going to find a more expensive currency in the world. There's Kuwait is the country, and Kuwait City, it's the same name, is the capital. A lot of countries have that, where the capital city is basically the same thing as the name of the state itself. So, let's say, for example, Bavel, people say roughly is where Iraq is. Maybe let's say it's where Kuwait is. Maybe that's where Bavel is. It's not so crazy to say that. So, maybe that's what we're saying. In the city of Bavel, there's a lot of yeshivas, right? For example, New York, right, or New Jersey, right? The whole New Jersey is not filled with yeshivas. Lakewood is filled with yeshivas. So the city of Lakewood, that's what Rav was talking about. Going from Bavel to Eretz Yisrael, that is the reason, because yeshiva students travel there. What the Gemara is saying on Amud Beis is not just the city, but the entire state. And the Gemara is adding on to what Rav is saying. It's not just the city of Bavel, but the entire country or state of Bavel, since a lot of people travel back and forth, so therefore there's no problem of Kiyum Shtaris. That's one answer I like to suggest. Second answer I like to suggest makes a little more sense to me. I was thinking about this here. And the Gemara says Itmar and Vavam and Aleph. Bavel, Ramar Kereshel Gittin Shulmar Kechutz Laaretz. Now, most people interpret this. Let's see what Rashi says. Rashi says and I think this is actually what Rashi means over here is that well, let me see one second, because I just heard Shir. The Rashi in the beginning of the Masechta, the first Rashi in the Masechta, maybe get Medinas Hayam. Kol Chutzaris Kari Medinas Hayam Bar Mi Bavel. So the Mishnah would read, and maybe get Medinas Hayam anywhere in Chutz La'aretz except from Bavel. You're talking about bringing from Chutz La'aretz to Eretz Yisrael. So Rashi seems to indicate, based on this Gemara, that Bavel. So I would say, not like Rashi, and maybe Bavel is talking about from one place in Bavel to another place in Bavel, not from Bavel to Eretz Yisrael. Malchus Rav and Shmuel, right? Just like we said in Eretz Yisrael, from one place to another place, which is pretty close to Eretz Yisrael, we're not worried about Mitzrayim L'Kaimo. Also in Bavel, between two cities, two places in Bavel, two yeshivas in Bavel, you're not worried about Edom Mitzrayim L'Kaimo because people from yeshivas travel back and forth. The Gemara means to say, Vavam Beis is talking about people who actually travel from Bavel to Eretz Yisrael, right? And it doesn't seem we paskin like this, right? We don't paskin like this. The Gemara suggests maybe, it's not clear if we paskin this. The Gemara says a lot of people travel in Bavel and Eretz Yisrael. Think of like America and Jerusalem. A lot of people travel back and forth. The people will travel between Iraq and Israel now? No, but unless you're Shlomi Zions. But do people travel between Bavel and America? Yeah, it happens very often. So that's the Gemara's adding that not just within Bavel. Ras is within Bavel, we paskin like Rav, but even between Bavel and Eretz Yisrael. And that's what the Gemara is adding. Whether we paskin like that or not, I don't know. Seems from Rashi in the beginning of the Masechta, we do paskin like that. Maybe that's where Rashi is getting it from, not from Rav. People think he's getting it from Rav because Rashi himself on Vavam and Aleph seems to say, he says in Mesifta, Yeshivas Kfuos Achas Masur Achas Mahar Devahokan Talmidim Mezulazu Mishar Raros Lahen Lilmod Torah. Well, it's not really clear from Rashi, but maybe Rashi got it from Vavam Beis, that from people go from Bavel to Eretz Yisrael. So since a lot of people make the travels, so therefore even from those places, Bavel to Eretz Yisrael or Eretz Yisrael to Bavel, you would not have to say Fani Nechta, because people recognize a lot of people who travel back and forth. Now, it's not clear that we paskin like Vavam Beis. There's no letter over here, the Masoras Hashah. So, the Ein Mishpat, I'm sorry. So, it's not clear we paskin. At least from Bavel to Bavel, that's pretty clear, where there's a lot of yeshivas over there, but we paskin like Rav. But from Bavel to Yisrael, it's not really clear. Maybe that's the first Masechta. Rashi means the Masechta, and that's really what seems to be whole like halacha, that even from Bavel to Eretz Yisrael, also you wouldn't have to say Fani Nechta, because a lot of people travel between both of those cases. And I would say nowadays also, if it's a place, if it's a frequent flyer, interchange where basically they're flying from New York to Tel Aviv and Tel Aviv to New York, it would be like Bavel nowadays, Eretz Yisrael. You wouldn't have to say Fani Nechta. Could be a practical halacha. I hope you enjoyed today's share. See you in the next one.